Hello and welcome to the Bold Black Girls podcast. I'm Aries.
And I am Kim.
Kim, you gonna keep your microphone in front of you today? Cause you know
I'm
how
gonna
you be
try.
doing. She be holding her mic like a gangster. You know how the gangsters hold their guns like
That's
this,
which,
sideways
by the
mic.
way, we need to go to the gun range.
We are going. That's gonna be a part of our. I think we can make that a part of our weekend for all the things we got going on this weekend. You know, we got a full
Oh,
schedule of things.
yes.
Maybe we can
We can
add that
just
in.
range right at the range.
It's a
It's a
new one
range
by
kind of weekend
by
by our
between.
house.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I want to try that one. We
I want to see what they're
should.
talking about. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So how's the week going? We're recording kind of late, so I'm actually kind of glad because so much is happening every day. It's like you think you're gonna talk about one thing on the podcast, and then 2 days go by, and you're like, okay, we got other stuff.
Look, I just got off work. I just had to have a fresh bath so I could get in the mindset. Um, and I sometimes have my television in the background while I'm working, depending if I'm on a meeting. And I know President, well, I don't like to even say number
Mm-hmm.
45 signed a police reform.
Yeah, and I haven't broken it apart really yet, but I know that it doesn't have all the things that the kente cloth wearers was trying to do. Nancy Pelosi and team, all the congressional Democrats have proposed a bill last week, and then really for the police reform stuff and no chokeholds and all these things that were included. But it's actually a black man who was a Republican. I think his name is like Tim Scott or something like that.
Yeah, he's from like the Carolinas. I can't remember
Yeah.
which one.
And
It
he's
might be
one of the ones
South.
that's been pushing it on the Republican side. And I still think that he's still championing other parts of it because that wasn't what he signed wasn't like a full I guess spectrum of all the things that they wanted included. Specifically what I heard him kind of call out was the police can't use chokeholds or whatever, except for when their life
Their
is in
life is
danger,
in danger.
which they can determine what that is, I guess.
And I
So.
was gonna say, how do you determine that? Like they could easily say, "Hey, my life is in danger," so I
Right.
decided to do the chokehold. Right?
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, George Floyd didn't die by chokehold. He died
He did
from a
not.
knee on his neck. So,
Exactly.
I mean,
Was
I
that in
don't
there?
know. Right. I don't know what's all in there. I haven't gotten into it.
I haven't had time either. I
I'm trying
know
to
that.
learn though. Like I'm paying attention to these things now because it's a lot of talk. I mean, obviously we want to be smart and educate ourselves on the things that we will be voting for eventually. Like yesterday
Correct.
was the last day, I think, to register to vote for something that's coming up. So
The
I'm like,
upcoming election, I want to say here in Texas,
July.
July 14th or
Hmm.
15th.
Yeah, somewhere in July, I know for sure. But
Yeah.
um, so just trying to figure out what is all up in them, hidden
Yeah.
between the lines and all that kind of stuff that we may not be seeing or recognizing. That's setting us
And
back. So
I definitely would say education is key in the current and the past because we need to know our past history so that we can move forward in the
look, I told the
current
boys when
while
y'all
we're
go back to
making
school.
history.
I told them when they go back to school, they're gonna be militant in the mud. They're gonna know all the stuff. I'm like, you correct them teachers when they saying the wrong thing about these subjects. You can say something. You can speak on it if you want to.
Well, correct, because here we are in Texas, right? We have an eventful weekend, like you said. Juneteenth is coming up.
It is coming up. I wanted to
And
before we even talked about that because I do want to. It's a bunch that I want to talk about for Juneteenth because I
let's
feel like,
let's get to it.
look, I got my shirt on.
I see.
It
I
says
love it.
it has the crossed out July 4th. It says Juneteenth 1865 with the
1865.
little
That's when we were
fist.
really.
It said
That's when we were really free.
because my ancestors weren't free in 1776. That's what the shirt says. Um, but before we get to that, I did want to talk about. We already have another hashtag. We have multiple hashtags that have popped up since we've been talking about George Floyd,
Oh my
all
gosh.
that, and even in the midst of all these protests and all this stuff that's happening, Black people are still being killed by police. And also just being killed, period, by whoever. You got these random lynchings or hangings or something that's been popping up. We have the Rayshard Brooks situation, which people are acting like because he was drunk, he deserved to die, which is just
I've seen
ridiculous.
plenty of people who have been drunk, right? Black and non-black, especially non-black, who are still living, and
Exactly.
they knew how to de-escalate the situation at that moment.
It's just becoming very, very, not even becoming, it is just getting more and more clear visibly because we're seeing all the videos and that's all kind of getting um, shown a lot more attention what's really going on. And they're pulling those backgrounds on these cops. Come to find out that cop had 11 previous incidents.
That the one in Atlanta?
Yep.
See, just like the one with the George Floyd. And so
Yep.
my question is, why isn't there a global database of this type of behavior? And they not only need to use, I mean, we have the technology, have
It's
a
not about the
database
tech.
where it is global.
It's not about the
Yeah, you're
tech.
right. You're right.
It's about what
It's
you want,
it's more to
what
it.
your purpose is. What is your purpose? If your purpose is actually to protect and serve the citizens, then we would be knowing these things. It would be open. It would be very community driven. It would be things where
I
we're
agree.
working together. Remember the whole, when they used to do the neighborhood watch and all that, where it was like you have your
Yes.
people that are kind of your sources. I don't even know if
Feet
that
on
was
the street.
effective, but still, it's like you should be having your own inner community kind of system where we could say, okay, we know people. I know the people in the neighborhood. We're trying to make sure we're keeping everything on the up and up. But when you're
Establish a
coming,
relationship.
I just don't feel like that's where policing is right now. I feel like it's like we're coming to be the bullies in the
Yep.
situation. And it's almost to me when I see like these videos, because remember I sent you the one that happened in Richmond, where I'm from. That
Listen.
popped up and they were talking crazy. Just because somebody is talking to you doesn't mean you should just go body slam them. Like the dude was over there being like, why are you looking at me? Look at what you're supposed to be doing right now. Don't worry about what I'm over here. I'm standing here watching, making sure nothing go down, kind of thing. And the officer's like, what? And doing this back and forth. I'm like, is this what y'all being trained on? Like, I don't understand it. And then body slamming people and tasing people and just it's terrorizing. It's like
It
you're the
is
terrorist.
terrorizing. Well, look, I was walking today and I saw the police and I immediately had anxiety. I mean, I'm walking in my neighborhood, minding my business, but that trauma has given me anxiety.
Yes. It gives me every time I see him though. I don't really I just don't have the faith, I don't tell my kids to go to the cops if something they get lost somewhere or nothing like that. Like, no. Figure it out. Call Nana. Go call, find somebody else.
Call
You know
somebody
my phone
else.
number. Yeah. So
You might need
which
to
is
give them
unfortunate.
my number too.
You said what?
I said you might need to give them my number.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I need to plug you in because I'm like, this is just it's just getting crazy, and I'm over it. So I'm very interested to see how all this is going to happen. They talk about the defunding the police, which I don't know a whole lot about how they actually go about that, but I know that it has a lot to do with like reallocating a lot of the funds that they're over budgeting these police departments with for not protecting
Mm-hmm.
us. Like they're not doing nothing as far as protecting us. The crime isn't going down the more cops you get. Like, so what really are we paying for? It's like another
Well,
military basically.
I'm like you. I don't know all the details. I do know about the reallocating of funds. And based on what I'm hearing, reallocate that because they're not using that money appropriately, right? And so I feel like it's more now of we're reactive to the crime, whereas there could be programs. This is an opportunity also for jobs for people. If you
Yes.
reallocate those funds, and you have people in the community on the street, that could minimize your crime.
Mm-hmm. I
So
agree.
I'm all for reallocating funds. It's not
Turn
to
these
say that we
cops
don't.
turn these cops back into turn them into some security guards.
And you
Like,
know what? Hold them accountable. There has to be a way that we hold them accountable. Get them where it hurts in their pension.
mm-hmm.
If you kill someone and they have children, you need to pay for them to go to college.
That's what I think it was that was not included. Remember, it's something like with the, I think they call it qualified immunity or something, where it's really hard to like sue a cop if they do
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
And that's not included, in there. They still haven't put that in there. So it's a lot of little things that like they get away with just for the sake of having a badge, which I don't think is fair. Like I don't think
I don't
that
think so
just
either.
because you have this badge now, you can just come around and just like you are the boss. But our person who is in the White House right now says that we want law and order. The people today, he got up there and he said, the people want law and order. They may not be talking about it. They might not even know that they want it, but they do. That's what they want. They want law and order. That's what he said today. I was like, Marvin was
So
sitting there.
he's
I was like, this dude is crazy. Like, I am
law and
so
order. See, talking about the show? No, I'm kidding.
right, right. I'm like, what? This dude, I just can't with him. So I try not to listen, but I knew he was about to sign something. So I
I
was like,
didn't
what are he
listen.
about to sign? What are you about to sign today? So I did
I don't
take a
listen.
peek for a minute. But and he was like, and the HBCUs, and just the way he talks about black people, I don't like it. I do not. He was like,
Exactly.
black and brown. When he says it, it's just the way he says black, first of all. And then he was like, every year they come here asking for money. He was
He
like, and
said
we gave.
that.
He's like, and I'm like, why are you coming back? He was like, because we need money. Like we're used to coming here every year to get the funds or whatever, right? That they give, I guess, some federal funds. I don't know. And he's like, and I made sure they got enough to last for a certain amount of time, and it's a certain, and we up the limit and everything. Very good people, very good people. But he makes it like we are. And this is when when we're talking about like white supremacy, white privilege, like all these things that sound like bad words, but when you have separated yourself from
Yep.
people in a way that like you could tell by the way he talks that he looks at us different, like down. Like when you look like we're not equal, I can't. Like that's when it's like I can't deal. So yeah, this the things he says, and I really hate it myself for watching it because every time I watch him, I feel the same way afterwards.
You get
Like
upset, don't you?
I
And you
feel
protect yourself.
violated. I feel violated. I feel like
Well, you do have to be informed, but I just go to CNN.com or Twitter to get my updates.
child. I was like, I cannot. So there's still protests going on. The police are not supporting the protesters still. I showed you that video of the dude who got knocked upside the head by somebody, a
Oh my
counter protester,
gosh. Yes.
and the police was just like,
Yes.
"Get up out of here!
Did
You shouldn't be
nothing.
over here, no way."
Was
I
not
was like,
serving or protecting.
at all. I'm like, you know what? This is just getting ridiculous. So you got these. It's like an interesting thing because, like in the corporate space, we're having some certain conversations that are happening, and
Yep.
then when you go look in the streets, it's like it's a lot of different conversations happening at once. I feel like that.
And I honestly I feel tension too. I feel
Yeah,
tension outside in public. Um just
I
at
do
the way
too.
certain people are looking at me because of the color of my skin.
And everything that's going
Um
on. My friend, she said she was in the bank today, and this man says while she's in line minding her business, she's like, I'm standing in front of the teller, and the teller, I'm not listening to what the teller is saying because the man is like, I don't understand why they're protesting and burning down their own neighborhoods, blah 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 blah. And I think he did the famous "All Lives Matter" statement or whatever. Oh, he said, I'm trying to figure out where this white privilege is that they're talking about because I dang sure don't have any. And then she was like, I said, did you say something? And she was like, I didn't want to say nothing. I didn't want to say that. She's like, but I'm sitting here like, I got to say something. So
so she
she was
said
like,
something.
yeah, she said, um, possibly because she said, when you get in a car and the police come behind you, you're not fearing for your life. That's the privilege that you have. And he was like, oh, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. And it's like, well, why are you even talking? Like, you know that. And I'm sick of that. That part is the part that I'm not having the conversation about any longer. Is I'm not, I've eliminated a lot of the people. I don't think I have anybody in my network that would actually have this conversation with me about like all lives matter and all that. I don't have anybody in my space that would say that to me in my face. Like, no
I
one's
don't
gonna have
either.
that. Okay, so I don't have those kind of people in my network right now. So I'm not having that conversation. Like, if I am somewhere and somebody tries that, I'm not doing it because I feel like that's just somebody who's trying to incite like something, because you know what the hell we talking about. Okay, like, period. That's really it on that. I also am not really interested in having the conversation of, I'm redirecting every conversation back to you. We all know what's going on. We're not about to play dumb and act like we don't know the inequalities that exist, and you know what to do to fix them. You know, whatever space you're in.
And you know that they exist.
And in your
This is
space
not
that you
new.
are in, you know what to do to fix them. So do what you need to do in your space to fix what's wrong in your space. It's evaluation time. Everybody needs to do it. That's where I'm at. I'm not engaging in this long dialogue to explain what, why it's bad and what you need to do. I'm not the answer. I'm on Toni Morrison right now. I'm like, look, it ain't on me. I'm here, but I'm not trying to be
Educating.
I will educate in a way of like,
I can redirect you to resources that can educate you.
right. I'm redirecting.
Because just like if you want to educate yourself about the stock market, if you want to grow spiritually, you go to the
I'm reading books.
Bible.
Yeah. I'm reading books. I'm educating myself because that's some things that I don't know about my history that I would like to learn more about. Prior to slavery, I'm trying to learn more about the civilization, like more about the continent and kind of what was going on before we came here. Like, those are things that I'm very curious about. I want to teach my kids about. I don't, and we all got to dig just as much as everybody else. So let's do the work. Let's all do the work. And if my close friends want to ask me questions, they can ask me. They know that. They could be like,
right.
Because they are going to do the work. Like, I'm willing to work with people who are actively doing the work. And I'm doing that in every aspect of my life. All the relationships is the same method. If you're doing the work, I could work with you. You're not trying to do no work, I can't work with you.
Show effort.
Show effort. But on a positive note, let's get off of this for right now because I really have to talk about Insecure.
Season
you watched the finale, right?
Yes. I knew it.
You knew though?
I knew she was gonna be pregnant.
No, I did not know that. Only person I heard.
Did. She kept texting, right? And I'm like, they've already kind of established that they were gonna take a break or whatever they had established, right? It seemed like it just wasn't the time. So it's like, she did not seem like the type to want to reach out like, hey, come, I got a booty call, right? It was something. I'm like, it's something. And the only people I was sitting in my office. I was sitting in my office right before, and I was with Kiara. I was like, she's pregnant. And sure enough, it all unfolded.
That wasn't even in my
It was in mine
thoughts before I listened to Therapy for Black Girls been doing like some recaps, kind of like, because they got a lot of material with this series this season. And so the lady who comes on with Dr. Joy to talk about Insecure, I forgot her name, but she was the one saying, and she gonna be pregnant. I was like, whoa, that wasn't even in my radar.
Oh my gosh, yes. Think about it. There have not been any slip-ups or pregnancies or anything like that in this show. They had to throw that in.
When he walked in the house, I was like, that heifer pregnant. When he walked in, I felt it, but that was only because I had that inkling put into my head from Dr. Joy's episode. Like, I mean, her podcast.
See, I didn't hear it.
If I hadn't never heard that, I would be like, I thought he was gonna say they had sex. I thought he was gonna be like, she came over, she wanted to talk, and I'm about to be like, what the heck you got to say? And then he was like, I was like,
I was like,
No, I went
but that
immediately to
happens
Twitter.
in real life. I guess that's how I was like, yeah. I
I know.
mean,
I was like,
I know someone personally that kind of happened to.
listen, I told Jania, me and her talked afterwards because I knew she was watching it at the same time as me. We watched it
Uh-huh.
early. And I was like,
Early.
girl, at 9 something. It came on at like 9:30 that day.
Right.
And
They're
I
early
usually
like
don't
it
watch
was
it till
really.
10. Well, at 10,
Oh, okay,
but like
okay. Okay,
it
okay.
came on earlier. So I was like, girl, girl. And she was like, I know. Oh my God. I'm like, this is so real life though.
That's what I'm saying. It's real life. That's how I knew. I'm like, yeah, she's pregnant. They
Everything
had
was
to throw. They
going
had to.
good.
Yeah, it was not going to end on a good note. So then I'm like, someone's like, well, could you stay with them? I'm like, I don't know. At this point in my life, that would be like, hey, happy Father's Day. Have a great life.
If that was 2020, gotta go, Bo. Gotta go. I
Go.
can't
You're
help
going to
you.
have to go be a daddy.
Listen,
You got an 18-year bid.
I
Go
can't.
serve it well.
I can't do it and I won't do it. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. I promise
Someone
you I
said,
wouldn't do
well,
it.
they said, well, it didn't happen while they're together. I'm like,
Well,
yeah, but just the drama of that, it couldn't be me.
listen, as soon as the baby is born, you gotta go see the
Dynamics.
baby. You going
Yep.
over here. Now you gotta be there to
Yep.
hold the baby. Every little thing the
Yep.
baby needs. You over there. And then I gotta look at this chick
Wonder.
again one day. They were cool. It ain't like you weren't cool with the girl. I was just so like, no. And then he's not gonna take that job in San Francisco. I don't feel like he can't because he got this
He
child.
can't.
And what I
This is
really
gonna.
but you know what I really liked about how they did the episode was that they showed his reaction to her, and it was
Yes.
so real because he was like, I don't want this.
Right.
Like he was
And
so
she's like, well, I
honest.
do.
And she was like, well, I didn't want it over here. I guess she had an abortion or something before.
She did.
And then
With
she
her
was like,
husband, I want to say, or
he's like, why would you want, this and we're, not together. And then she tried to pull the whole, you can be as involved as you want to be, and I'm gonna be good. And I'm like, girl, this man is a good man. He is not about to go nowhere. He is gonna be right there helping you with this child. So don't even play. But I was like, I hope she's lying. I hope she just
he said, is it
being
mine?
evil. He did say
I'm like, look, Lawrence, you've been careless anyway.
that's a rude question, but I feel it at the same time. Like I get it, but it's still like the
That
worst
is a
question
rude question. But I
ever.
mean, he doesn't.
But I ain't mad at you though, because I was like, hey, you gotta ask these questions. You never
It's
know.
just that is so real life.
He was like, I want to be with you. I'm like, psh, easy for you to say now, fool. You are
Easy.
complicated. Where is Nathan? Let's go back and talk to Nathan. Nathan don't have no kids. I'm sorry, a new baby too.
A little mental issues, but don't we all have something?
At least his is
Yeah, I don't
diagnosed.
think I could do it. I know that's true.
Look, people got him
True.
and they not
He can get
diagnosed.
some. He can
So
get some medicine.
he already
He can
got
get
it
some medicine
diagnosed.
for
He's
it.
already on a system. We're good. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that because it lets me know you're working on yourself. You're working on things.
Okay. So what about Molly and Issa?
I feel like Molly's only reaching out. Well, first of all, she saw herself. She had to get called out by her man, which I knew he was going to break up with her, but because
I
she's
knew it too.
extra. And I've
She's so
seen
into
that
herself. Everything is
she was,
about her.
yeah, and she's like, well, we're trying, all the adjustments she made was for her stuff. It's for her. And she want everybody to bend over backwards for her, which I'm like, girl, At a certain age, that ain't working no more. I'm sorry. So
Life
now,
after 35 for certain.
look, I like that. I mean, I think that both of them are in a situation now where they're like, I kind of need my friend back again
Yep.
because you're seeing, the
Life is evolving
importance.
for them. Yep. And you see the importance of what friendship is. And I
Yeah,
know this kind of goes back to our book that we read with relational intelligence.
yeah.
And I think more people, and I'm hoping that this pandemic helps people realize to value your friends, right? And not to just always think about you or think things have to be your way. That's pretty
Yeah.
selfish. It's pretty selfish.
And it's something I'm actively working on because I know that
Same.
I really like, even when with you, and I'll be like, I don't. Are you okay with such and such? Like, can we record on this day if I don't, whatever? And it's like, sure, like trying to be flexible and stuff like that. But I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be like, we need to record on such and such day. Like, that's not the approach. Like,
We are so understanding, but I can say I know some people who aren't understanding, right? And that's a true turnoff for me. Like,
oh
if
my
it's all
god,
about me, you can't be flexible. I mean, we had we won't disclose any names, but remember we went on a trip with somebody and
Lord, I
they
stopped
were
being
all
friends
about
with her.
themselves,
That
right?
showed me her. You know what? I was like, yeah. And before we left, when she was like, do you want to talk about, first of all, y'all, in podcast world, this chick was like, so we went to California together, all three of us. The two of them had not been. So I'm like, okay, tell me where y'all want to go, what y'all want to do,
Right.
because we're going to the Bay. It's so much to do. I need to know so we can
And we
narrow
were
it
going
down.
around Martin Luther King weekend.
Yep, because we went to the Black Winery. We went to
Yes.
Brown
It
Estate.
was a Black History weekend.
We were just being real chill. It was real laid back. It's like, y'all want to go to Fisherman's Wharf, y'all want to go to the Golden Gate Bridge, like all these certain little places. Okay, cool. Want to go to Napa? Like, we need to plan that because it could take
Right.
all day. Everybody's being flexible. I take them around to meet all my best friends. Everybody meets everybody, and all of them at the end, all my girlfriends, my three girlfriends that I introduced y'all to, all of them was like, "What's up with old girl?" And they don't even talk to each other. Like,
Wow.
they're not friends. My three friends that are my close friends back home, they are not friends. So they were like, all of them specifically asked me about her, like, what's her deal? And I'm like, for all of y'all to have met this person and have that
Common
feeling,
denominator. A
that
common
tells you she was
denominator.
acting up, and not being flexible, not wanting to, if we pick what we're gonna eat, where y'all want to go eat. You don't know where you want to eat, but you don't want to eat where we want to go. That's the problem.
And
Like,
not willing to compromise, because being a friend, it's all about compromise, right?
it
I
is.
know I'm picky. But I will say, you know what? I'll find something on the menu. If it's a cup of soup or a kid's meal, I'm not gonna make the trip bad for one small experience, right?
And
So I,
that was just, I
that was
couldn't, I
a
knew, I told
that
her,
was a
she was like, you don't want to talk about what's going, I said, there's nothing to talk about. I just know that when we get back home, I will not be traveling with you ever again. Like, we're cool. I was still gonna be cool with her, but I was kind of like turned off by it. But I was like, yeah, we won't be doing the travel thing no more because you're not the travel buddy. And then she did some other
and,
stuff that made me
and
like
you
really
can't
cut her all the
travel
way
with
off.
everyone, because my thing is this. And I know this is a PG podcast, so I won't curse. But if you show your A in the city, I'm not going out of the state with you.
At all, at all. But you know what's so cool was this weekend that passed, my girlfriends were going to a hotel because they want to get away a little bit because we can't
Right?
travel. We all travel together. And they were like, let's do a little quarantine. We all been quarantining. Let's just go to the hotel and chill. And at first I was like, that sounds cool. And then I was like, when my kids was getting closer to about to leave for the weekend, I was like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna stay home and chill at my house. Like, I want to be by
Right.
myself. I want to chill. I want to relax. I want to get some things done. I want to be productive. Like, I just didn't feel like it.
You
And I
wanted
didn't
to
have to
do
make up.
you.
Yeah, and I didn't have to make up no whole bunch of excuses. They were still cool. They were like, okay, like, it wasn't no drama. Like, why you don't want to come with us? You know how it could be. And so that for me
Do
let me
I?
know. It let me know that, like, we had, I'm at a mature state in my friendships and within
Yes.
myself to where I could be like, you know what, I just don't want to go. I ain't got to make up no lie. I ain't got to,
And
go
they
through
did
this
not
whole
get
thing.
offended,
Exactly. And I love that because it just be
because
like
it
that
really
sometimes
had nothing to do with them. It was
at
you
all.
that you just didn't want to go. And I think a lot of times people get in their feelings about things. And I don't
Hmm.
know how we got here on this podcast about
Relationships,
right,
relationships.
relationships with the Molly and the Issa. And it's
Yeah.
like sometimes it's not even about you. It's that person.
Most times.
Most. Most times.
But that's the selfishness that makes you think it is about you every time. So like even when Nathan told her that the reason why he ghosted because he had diagnosed with bipolar, he had left, he didn't, all these things, and she didn't beat him up about why you didn't tell me and da 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 da. Like understand, just be like, you know what, I hear you and I get it. It's something about that, which is I think brings us back to what we're trying to get. Empathy, being able to empathize with someone. And when we're talking about these Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, the fact that people have an issue with empathizing that our lives matter at all, don't tell me all lives matter when I can't say Black Lives Matter.
Right. You're telling me, and you're seeing videos every week, almost every day, of a black life being killed or taken away.
You know that our lives don't matter to these people. Okay, so don't try to play those games of all lives matter. See, you playing with me. That's when I'll be ready to be like, see, you playing. So I'm glad I'm not coming across people like that. But that's the whole thing when you bring it all back is empathy. That's what Jesus did when he came. People saying they're Christian, I don't want to hear that if you can't say Black Lives Matter out of your mouth, because you're not representing him at all. When he was with the woman in the well, what was they talking about? The woman at the well who was a Samaritan. And they was like, why are you over there talking to her? He like, chill. I got this, whatever. And he did it multiple times. So it's like, I'm not really trying to hear about these, it's certain things that I'm like, I'm overhearing these, you got all these rules about who you are morally and how you are, but you can't empathize with this situation.
Well, you can't love God and hate a race.
Very true. But the Bible was used a lot to push that narrative of, slaves obey your master and all these things, the way that they would do that and use that against us. So it's just a lot of things that were used because like I still don't really look at you like you're equal, although we were all created equal, but we are not being treated equally. Or whatever. So I guess we did wrap it all back into the same. It all came back full circle.
But so I'm interested to see how this Issa and Molly relationship is going to transpire.
They'll be back,
I think so, because now they're both like manless.
I need you.
Back to Sunday Fun Day.
Hold me.
Right?
Hold me, friend.
So tell me this. My favorite character is Kelly.
I could see that being your favorite character.
Why?
Because she's silly and that would be somebody you would be acting up with.
Yes.
I like Kelly too. She cracked me up when she was like, when the white guy was like, my inner black woman is. She's like, well, my outer black woman about to.
That would have been me.
Man. Yeah, she was good. Yeah, that would have been you. My favorite character. Who's my favorite character on there? I think Lawrence is my favorite character.
Why?
He reminds me of myself. Getting caught up in crap all the damn time. No, I like him. I don't know. He just seems like he's like a normal guy who he's just living, Yeah, like he's just a normal guy who gets, caught up in things. I like how he approached getting back into Issa's world. He was very mature, addressing his issues that were that he recognized, meaning he did some kind of self-reflection after their relationship and was like, I kept seeing you get up every day, reminding me, like he was just being honest and vulnerable. And I love that.
When I tell you, because that wasn't this episode, that was the episode before then.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably one of my most favorite episodes.
Mine too.
And I think that we lack that as Black people. We're not vulnerable. We're not.
But we can't be. We can't. Yeah. We haven't been able. It's not safe. If you're not protecting your body will be. It will be gone. Like it's literally. if you read that Ta-Nehisi Coates book, Between the World and Me, that's what he talks about. He talks about the body, our body being attacked at all sides. We're have to protect our body in the hood. When you got to be tough, you got to be strong to like handle the environment, but you also have to like back down and really be kind of the reverse to protect your
Right.
body from the police and
That's true.
other people that are trying to, they look at you. You got to kind of almost bow down, and
So
and
your
that's
body's
just been
kind of,
our experience. Yeah, it's
yep,
like,
that's true.
back in those days of Jim Crow and all that, where you can't look a white man in his eyes and they calling you boy, and it's all these like kind of things that were the social norms back then. And then but you still are strong because you know what you are for real is resilient. So you sitting here, it's like them days where I sat up in that meeting at that performance review with a boss who was looking at me and saying crazy stuff about me in a performance review at a job, being like, do you want to work here? And I want to be like, no, I don't want to work here. But you like,
That
I need this
happened.
check. I
Right.
need
I
this
need this
check. I need
job.
this check, Jesus. I need this check. And I said, instead of saying no, because I am a person who is very authentic to myself, even in those kind of situations. And I said, I don't think that's the question that I'm ready to answer right now. Like, I don't think that's the question that needs to be. I don't think right now in this moment that should be the question that we're discussing. Because right now in this moment, no, I don't want to work here if this is how it's going to be. Like, that's how I'm feeling. But at the same time, obviously, I want to work here. Like, I don't want to work under these conditions,
And I
but
need
that's the
this
same.
job.
That's the feeling I had. I'm like, I wanted to cry sitting there because I'm like I'm so angry and trying to hold those emotions back and stuff. It's not easy. So it's like the Black body is under attack in so many
Oh
ways,
gosh.
mentally,
Trauma.
physically,
Yes.
emotionally.
I agree. And
So,
we haven't had healing from it.
mm,
We're on constant alert.
so we're wondering why the Black family is struggling. We're all struggling in our respective places, right? Wherever that is. And then you try to get together with someone. And if we have not learned effective coping mechanisms in this space, it's gonna be hard. It's not gonna work.
Or
So it's
learn the
just a
lesson
lot.
from the previous relationship so that you don't take it into the next one, so that you don't repeat the same cycle, history, etc.
Yeah. So I think yeah, it's just a lot. It's so much. And then we got Juneteenth coming up, which I think this week we'll probably see way more people celebrating Juneteenth than ever.
Because we're now more educated, right? So I've shared with you my story about Juneteenth, right?
That you just found out about it when you moved to Texas,
Correct.
which
Had
is
no
interesting.
idea about it. And I polled a few other people from Chicago, like, okay, so was I not paying attention in history class? They were like, no, because we
I don't
didn't
think
know
they ever taught
either.
that.
Or Black Wall Street
I
till I
don't
moved to
remember
Texas.
learning about any of that in school. I learned everything outside of school. And that's because I was around Black people all the time, even though you went to the segregated schools. I didn't go to segregated schools, but my city, Richmond, California, we celebrate Juneteenth like very hard. We have a whole parade. We have a whole the choir sing, the poetry, the rappers, the singers, everybody, all that, face paint, food vendors, everybody hanging out at the park and stuff like that. I grew up like that, so it's in my mind. Like I'm always like Juneteenth, like what we doing
Right.
for Juneteenth, this weekend.
No,
But not since I've been out here. I really haven't seen a lot. I mean, you would have to go. We live
further
north
south.
Dallas. We have to go south Dallas to probably see any of that. But I did notice, and I posted on our page some of the things that were going on this weekend for Juneteenth. There's a lot of rallies. There's a lot of protests continuing, using that time for that. And then we are going to attend the Smart, Funny, and Black virtual.
I'm excited. Yeah,
I'm
we're keeping
interested.
it safe. We're keeping it safe. While I would love to be out there protesting, COVID cases are still increasing.
They
And
are
so
out
that
here.
concerns me. It concerns me because we are the ones that are most impacted by it, and we already have disparities in terms of healthcare, right? So not only are we being racially profiled just as out and about by the police, it's also with our healthcare.
And my mom, like she's here now. I've been really limiting being out in public because of she has a autoimmune disease, so I cannot
Right.
be getting her sick. And she want to be. I'm gonna have her at the house by herself. She want to be around
Right.
her grandkids. Like right now, they and they're about to watch a movie. But so I've been kind of watching what I'm doing too because I'm like I'm not trying to bring nothing back to her.
Same.
So that's been
Same.
hard to like, because typically I would be out there. I'm definitely the type that will be out there in these streets. Um,
Same. I would say,
so I'm still kind of on the. I ain't gonna lie. I still was thinking like, okay, they doing something in Frisco. I saw. Um, I'm gonna
I
see. I'm just gonna keep my ears to the streets because we gonna see if I end up like, let me
and
mask
and
up.
Friday is it's in the evening, so
Right, right. But I'm interested to see what the Smart Funny and Black thing. That's the Amanda Seals we've been multiple times in person, but she's doing
and
it virtual now.
I love it because she truly like it's entertainment, but it's edutainment
It
because you will
is
leave knowing something you may probably didn't know.
Smart, Funny, and Black.
Exactly. So I'm excited about it. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
that's gonna be fun. And then before Juneteenth, so I took 2 days off this week. I took Thursday off and I took Friday off. My
18th.
PTO for Juneteenth is in observance of Juneteenth holiday because I do not work on Juneteenth for my ancestors.
And that will
um,
now going forward be a tradition. I've always been off around Juneteenth anyway because
well,
that's my birthday
because
week.
your birthday is the day before. But yeah,
The
so
other
now it's
team.
like exactly. And you saw that there's a lot of companies that are using that as a company observance now, like a company
Yes.
holiday.
Some are
Nike,
using it.
Twitter,
Twitter.
Square. I tried to get mine to do it. I was like, here's a way that you can celebrate. Let's add that.
So for us where I work, they encourage you not to schedule a lot of meetings so to allow you time to reflect and educate yourself. So I
And they're
appreciate that. Although
providing you
they
guys content.
Oh yes, it's three different sessions. So part of me is like, I kind of want to see what they're going to talk about.
We need just come to my house and log in because I want to see Ibram. We're reading his book
Okay.
right now. Like we need to see what he's talking about. I've been watching him. When I
Yes.
see him pop up somewhere, I'm like, what are you talking about? I started reading too. Did you start reading it?
I didn't. I'll start
Okay.
tonight.
I just started like last night. So
I'll start before Juneteenth.
I started last night. It's actually been really interesting. Like I'm like, ooh, this is
What
really
chapter are you on?
making you think. 3. Well,
Oh,
it's the
it's
Audible.
first.
It's easy.
Yeah.
It's easier because I can
So
listen
what
while
I'll
I'm
have
doing
to
other
do
things.
is on my daily 2 mile walk, kind of pivot what I'm listening to. But
Mm-hmm.
I really kind of go with the flow when I go out there in that 2 mile because sometimes it might be worship. It
Right.
might be Darius Daniels.
It
I'm
might
just
be a
gonna go.
podcast.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I've been really going with the flow a lot on a lot of
And
things.
I'm digging my friends that are going with the flow because we talked to Carolyn and remember I said, oh, we should meet up for dinner, and we were all like, no, I'm about to get in the tub, and I was like, I'm getting ready to take a nap, and she was like, I don't know how I'm going to be feeling, and that's what it kind of goes back to is like it's flow. Like
Yes.
you don't get upset that okay, yeah, we might want to meet for dinner, but because we're all in different phases of how we're feeling today, it might not happen.
Just let it
But we
be. Let
still
it flow.
cool. Let it flow. It's like
Yeah.
don't force that ponytail when you know you don't have enough hair in there. Don't do that.
It's too
Or
much
why would
work.
you force it is? And you're gonna
You know
start
how much work it
sweating.
is? Yeah. That's too much work. And you know what? It's helping my mental space as far as I'm not guilting myself about things. I'm not like harping on things a lot. I'm just kind of like, you know what?
Yes.
It's okay. Today we were not as energized as we want to be. That's okay. We'll see what tomorrow looks like and just kind of
Right.
let it do its thing.
And I appreciate the ones that can go with the flow because I'm gonna tell you, if you're not going with the flow, you work.
You are, yes,
Too
exactly.
much
It's too
work.
much. It's too much. So, Kim, can you tell? So, we did mention all this stuff about Juneteenth. Is if there's anybody out
Yes,
here who does not celebrate Juneteenth, which can you give a highlight on what exactly Juneteenth is?
absolutely.
Um,
So Juneteenth is when the slaves in Galveston, Texas, were notified 2 years after Abraham Lincoln, signed the Emancipation Proclamation. It was in 1863, so they
mhm.
went almost 2.5 years being a slave when they were really truly free, and they didn't get the memo down here in Texas.
Could you? We needed men to hearts, like they needed the memo. Like, can you imagine
They didn't
two and a
tell them
half? 2.5. It was a good June. You was in June, okay? Of the, I would be so
halfway through the
pissed.
year.
You know how pissed I would be, like how I am with if my check don't come on time, if you don't get your overtime, whatever that stuff. You know how it is. And then 2.5 years, ain't no telling what happened in there. People who may have died, still living in those conditions. And they talk about how, like, they don't know. There's a lot of stories about why it took so long. They think like it might have been Union soldiers that were murdered on their way to tell them
Right.
that they wanted to finish like a crop before telling them,
Yep.
like all kind of things that. And I'm like, that's crazy. So yeah, it's definitely something where I don't plan to work, like just on GP. Um,
Well,
but
look, I don't work on Martin Luther King, and some companies don't honor that as a holiday. So I always opt to take it off, and so now I'm definitely adding June 19th um, to the list.
I think that's why they started doing more floating holidays, where you can decide which ones you want to use for.
What's applicable to you, right?
I'm like, yeah,
Well,
we're
my
not
thing
doing
is
this.
this: if you honoring President's Day, then you might as well go ahead and honor when we
Child.
became free.
Mm-mm. Because according to 46 minus one, um, that may not necessarily have been the best. He don't even like Abraham Lincoln. He talks about that. Like,
Right.
we see what the result of that was. Like, anyway, don't get me on that. But we're celebrating Juneteenth this year. So I would encourage everyone, if you have the ability, I don't know who all still is on quarantine, if y'all out here in these streets, be educate yourself on it, celebrate, do just
Yeah.
like you would do when any other time you get a day off, like go get the grill popping, and get you some drinks, get you and your family together,
Go
and
support a black owned business.
go support a black business. It's a lot of things you can do, but I think that's something that we should start adopting more as a tradition, just for us, because we really don't
I agree.
have anything other than saying like Martin Luther King's birthday or something like that. But I feel like we should definitely utilize that day
I agree.
in honor. So anywho, okay, and then we got Father's Day coming up,
Yes.
which we are both daddy's girls, and
Yes. One of my favorite holidays.
she said this is her favorite. I already sent my dad. He already got his gifts, so I bought him Dr. Tony Evans. He is the first black man to
To write a
write
Bible.
a Bible commentary,
Yes.
and he has a study Bible. So I ordered that for my dad and sent it to him. So he has the commentary study
Oh,
Bible. My dad's a minister, so
yes,
I was
right.
like, I said, this is the first gift in a while that I bought my dad that I was like excited about him getting. And I was like, he's gonna love this. You know how it's like hard to figure out what to
Yes.
get your parents.
Especially when they
Um,
get older.
so I
Because
was
you feel
like,
like they've accumulated so much. Was like, what do they need?
and I'm tired of buying him golf stuff. Like I always get him golf stuff, or something like that. So I was like, this will be perfect. Um, so we're gonna shoot out a bonus episode so we can
Yes.
honor the Black fathers
Black
on
Fathers Matter.
Father's Day. His shirt. Oh, I got him a shirt that says Black Fathers Matter,
Oh,
and he just got that yesterday as well. Um, so then you could tell some good stories about you and your dad and him running those
yes.
baths for you every morning.
Yeah. I know. My
And
dad's no longer here, so I don't know what I'm gonna do to commemorate him. I don't know. But I did get a shirt from was it Mess in a Bottle?
I love Miss in the Bottle.
I do
Support
too.
black business. I love her. She
She
has
has
great shirts.
such quality shirts. Like I'm
The
bougie about my
material.
shirts. Don't give me no stiff, thick cotton family reunion shirt.
I
I need something
know.
breathable, stretchable. You
Yeah, the
know,
next shirt.
I'm
Oh, speaking of that, y'all, get the rest of these bold black girl shirts that we have. I think we only got like 30 something left. Um, we're doing some new designs that are going to be coming out soon. So I want to we've lowered the price. So get up there, get your shirt, and oh, you gotta come get Carolyn's shirt. I keep
gonna
forgetting.
get it. I won't. I
Anywho,
probably won't. I might see her. I don't know. But for my birthday, I gifted myself some clubs, and they're actually out there waiting for me to go get.
hey, we're
So
gonna be
we
going
will.
hit some balls on Thursday. The boys got super excited when I told them that. They were like, "We're going."
Did they?
Yes, that's gonna be fun. Marvin's like, "I'm gonna
Oh,
call Kim before Kiara even gets a chance to tell her happy birthday." I was like, "You ain't. She gonna be in the bed with her all
oh,
night."
you know it. She's already asked me, "What do you want to eat?" I'm like, "I don't know. I know I don't want to go to a restaurant and
So
sit
we're
down."
celebrating with Kim and Kiara for Kim's birthday, and then we will join together on Juneteenth as well.
Juneteenth,
I'm
exactly.
excited. I'm so
I
excited
am
about
too.
that. I think we need that right now. Um,
Me
no,
too.
things are still bad. You know, they're not perfect. They're not back. They're not where they need to be. Well, where's back? I don't know. Um, they're not where they need to be, but I think we can definitely you know, we always have a way of finding some joy within hard times as a people.
We do it, whether it be music. Look at Amanda Seals. She was jumping on the trampoline.
No, she was jumping on the
Jumping on
trampoline.
the trampoline.
You got to find
So
something.
I may have something up my sleeve there. Marvin and LJ can come join me jumping on the
Oh
trampoline.
Lord Jesus.
Thinking about, I am seriously thinking. I'm
Check
so
about your
mad I didn't get it
insurance.
either. I was
Check your homeowner's insurance
okay.
first before you do it.
I
Just
will.
do it for me, just to make sure, because I remember that being like a question. So it increases
Really?
liability or something. Yeah, check on it.
Okay, I could
But
see that.
but they would, you know, I would drop them off. I'll be gone. I'll drop them off at your house and be like, "See you later."
I
Because
said
my
if I
piece is in
ever,
my backyard. My backyard is my new like feng
yeah, I'm
shui
kind of.
situation I got going on.
I think that's what everybody's kind of working on. I was like, I need to get out there. It's been too hot for me to be outside.
It is hot. I've been out there though.
It is hot. So yeah, we have an eventful weekend. I have a friend who said COVID won't win, and I think that, like you said, as we as a people, we still find a way to have joy,
Resilience. Black
even in
equals
the midst of.
resilience.
Yes,
It equals strong. It equals laughter because we
strength.
always find a
Yep,
way to laugh. Um, and flip something that somebody tried to mean for evil. We got a good
and
way.
turn it into good.
Just get on Black Twitter. You'll see a mix of emotions. You'll see somebody getting dragged, or you'll see somebody creating laughter out of a moment that may not have been funny, you know, in the
And I
beginning.
think I do that. I try and do that. That is one of the things that I try and do. I remember I was at a funeral, and we were in Louisiana. We were in the front yard praying. You know, black people got to pray before we depart, right? Before
Hmm.
everybody go about that way.
Traveling mercies.
Yes. And so I think after we got done, I was like, you was kind, you was smart, you was important. And we just all died laughing. And so it was
Girl,
just like, even in the midst of a funeral, we still was able to laugh and have a little bit of joy.
I come from a family of people that laugh at funerals. So we have
Me too.
we
We in
have
the
gotten
funeral
in
talking
trouble
about somebody.
laughing when they get up there and do too much. You be like, Lord, here she go. You know, it'll actually calm the situation down. You be like,
It really
here
does.
comes so and so. You know the cousin that's
We
gonna
were
get
about
up
to be
there.
here 10 minutes.
Right, they gonna get up there and they say we're gonna have people come up and say words. When you see certain people get up there, you like, oh heck, it's about to be hilarious. So yeah, you gotta find that because otherwise you will be enraged, you know, on a regular, which I
Enraged.
go through that roller coaster, you know, frequently. So
I have been. I've been a little bit enraged.
Yeah.
I put
So we're
myself
gonna
in timeout.
good because you acknowledged it, you saw it, you were aware.
Because
Um.
that rage can come on the streets too while you're driving.
Well, you get road rage, so
Only when it's given to me.
we definitely. I'm like, she sure can find these people who are pretty, who drive with privilege. I don't know. It's so funny
They
because
are.
she mostly is the one that finds it. So I'm like, I think, yeah, we got to work on that. I'm putting that on the prayer list because anyway, all right, guys. So rate and review this episode, please. Go to
Yes.
boldblackgirls.com and tell a friend, share, like, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe and share. And also, if you're listening on whatever podcast player of choice, if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, please subscribe. We will be starting to send more things out that way. To people who are on our mailing list, as well as like kind of little treats that we want to share. We are coming up on our 1 year anniversary. I cannot believe we only got like 7 episodes left or something like that.
Episodes? Oh my god! It
So
doesn't
I
seem
don't
like
know.
it's
I
been a
feel like
year.
I wanted to plan something and the time has just come and it's gone and I don't know. So I feel like we should do like a little virtual live or something. I don't know what the
We
heck.
can do something.
We'll think of something. Y'all give us some ideas. Send us a message, boldblackgirls at gmail.com, or just go to our website and you can shoot us a message. Otherwise, go get a Bold Black Girls t-shirt. Make sure you're celebrating Juneteenth. What else? That was the call to action. Find some laughter, find some
Yes.
joy, find your, kind of space that you
And
can
get
channel.
educated.
Educate yourself on your history. And I'm learning that the more you do that, you are seeing more. You are seeing more of what's really going on. And you will not be bamboozled, because I feel like I have been bamboozled for a while.
Absolutely.
And when you start reading this book, we maybe we could talk about it when we get a couple chapters in. But he pointed out some things that I'm like, whoa.
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna go listen to it tonight.
Yeah, like I know what he's talking about. Like it's How to Be an Anti-Racist, if we haven't said it already, by Ibram Kendi. But even for us as Black people, we need to read that, because it talks about kind of the middle class America, Black people looking down on, the lower economic class, all kind of things. It's a lot of parts in there that we could glean from, as well as others. So join our book club. That's not really a book club.
Right.
We just read books every month. So if you want to be on it with us, then please go ahead and download that on Audible if you can't get it on Amazon, because that's what I did.
They're sold out.
It was sold out. So Audible is available to everybody. So all right, y'all.
We out.
Have a bold week. Tomorrow is my Friday. I'm so excited.
Wait, you're off Wednesday too?
Tomorrow is my Friday. Wednesday is my Friday. I'm off Thursday and Friday with you.
Yeah, tomorrow. That's right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get it
All right,
together. All right. Peace.
Have a good rest of your week. Peace.